back. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
And welcome back to the show. You are listening to Boomer Life on CL 650. We have Dr. Ted Venema here from NexGen Hearing. Now, Dr. Venema, NexGen is on the island, it's in Vancouver, it's in the interior, so it's all come together in the last year or so, right?
Yep, they're everywhere. Yeah, it is interesting. It started out as mainland hearing was on the mainland, and NexGen Hearing was on the Vancouver Island as well as in the interior of the province.
That's all come together.
Now it's all amalgamated under the umbrella of NexGen. So it's probably about some 40 offices in the province of BC.
Now, people hear something here on this show with your help. They can just look up NexGen and find what's closest to them.
Yep.
All right, so why don't you introduce our next guest?
Our next guest is Janet Clark, and Janet is the Director of Audiology at a hearing aid company known as Phonak, P-H-O-N-A-K.
Well, Janet, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for asking me to be part of your show today.
All right, well, over to you now. You explain from your side, what is Phonak?
Oh, okay. We're happy to do that. Well, Phonak is a hearing aid company that is part of the Sonova Group, who are headquartered in Switzerland, and we have a large group company here in Mississauga in Ontario. And what we've been, as a company, committed to developing, producing, and distributing cutting-edge and innovative products for those with hearing and listening challenges for nearly 70 years. And in fact, in 2017, we will be 70 years young as a company. And I think if you look back at Phonak's developments and products over the years, we've had some world-first innovations. So we've done some pioneering work in directional microphone technology, in FM, and now our Roger technology. And those two in particular help to address listening in noise, which for a lot of people with hearing loss is a primary difficulty.
For sure.
Yeah. And then in September... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what is the last one, the one you said you've developed? What is that?
Yeah, the last one was September this year, actually. We introduced the world's first lithium-ion rechargeable hearing aid.
Oh, that's a big one, I'm sure.
That is a big one. So it's another sort of world first in terms of how we power these devices that now can do all sorts of wonderful things. And this is part of our new Belong family of products. So this is a receiver in the canal hearing aid. These are discrete little hearing aids. And one of the family of products is this rechargeable model. And just to give you some sense of kind of the pace of change, our last product platform launch was less than 24 months ago. So things change quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing people who are maybe older, who need hearing aids, also maybe have some dexterity issues in changing the batteries is not easy. So having chargeable hearing aids is a big benefit.
Certainly. You know, that is one thing that we know. So there is some consumer research, market track research, and the last one was published in 2015, Market Track 9, and that showed that people that don't wear hearing aids, two of the sort of highest things that would draw them to consider a hearing aid were things like rechargeable batteries or the ability to easily charge their hearing aids. Because sometimes it's not just dexterity, it's also visual acuity problems. You know, to be able to see which way round the battery goes in a hearing aid.
And they're tiny, right? The batteries for hearing aids.
They can be.
Yeah.
They absolutely can be. Yep. And, you know, the thing is, Phonak was maybe not the first company with a rechargeable, but we were the first with lithium-ion. And there's a reason for that, because what we wanted to do was make sure that when we did bring a rechargeable battery product to market, it was something that was practical. So it needed to have a charge that charged quickly. It needed to have a rechargeable battery that was light and small, because people want their devices to be very small. And it also needed to provide, you know, sort of hearing and listening and all the things that the hearing aids can give you for at least 24 hours on a full charge. Because the last thing someone wants is the hearing aid battery to die in the middle of a meeting or a really important conversation.
So what happens with these when they're charging? They come out of your ear, and they go in a cradle? Is that how it works?
Yeah, actually, they've been very smart in how they've done this. So the charging, if you want to call it a cradle, is actually a little hearing aid case. So it's the case that people usually get to keep their hearing aids in. And what they've done is they've developed this case that you can plug it into an outlet, and then you can close the lid of the case, and built into the lid of the case is also a desiccating pellet. So it can be drying out the hearing aids at the same time it's charging them. And then for people who might like to, say, go hiking or go traveling in places where there might not be reliable access to power, there is a power pack that you can attach to the bottom of the charging case. And when that power pack has been fully charged, you can get 7 full days of charging for your hearing aids without needing access to any power outlet.
So if you go camping or you go hunting or something and you're off the grid, you still have your ability to hear. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then there's also a tiny little charging unit. So say you wanted something discreet at the office to just top up the charge of your hearing aids, you could have that too. So they've really tried to think of everything that makes life kind of simple and keeps these things ticking.
Now, one of the things I always think about when I take batteries out of a device and I replace them with new batteries, you're supposed to take those used batteries to a recycling depot and have them looked after. A lot of times, though, they just get chucked in the garbage, right? So
Absolutely.
This is obviously, you're eliminating that
Absolutely.
That garbage problem, right?
Yeah, and it certainly is an environmentally friendly option because normally I think with a regular hearing aid, you might go through 100 batteries per year per hearing aid. That's a lot of product that you're having to dispose safely of. And as you say, if someone's caught in a hurry, they tend to go in the regular garbage instead of being recycled.
Janet, can I ask you, how does the lithium rechargeable battery differ from, let's say, a competitor's rechargeable battery system?
It depends what they use. So I think there is now one other that is using lithium ion, but in the past, I think it's either been nickel metal hydride or silver oxide. Some of them take longer, and then you don't get as long a charge. And the other reason that, for example, Phonak went with the lithium ion is that it's a very commonly used form of rechargeable battery. So plenty of suppliers. We're not going to run into the risk of suddenly not having a sole supplier for a particular rechargeable battery. So I think anyone nowadays, if they looked around their home between their iPads and their smartphones, have plenty of products using lithium-ion technology already.
Now, in the research that you've done, how long do people keep a hearing aid in? So you obviously the goal was to make sure they could go through the day, right?
Yes. And so what happened when we were planning on launching these products, they actually did some pilot studies in France and in the US and had hundreds of these products out on patients' ears. And then from the data logging, because we can actually log what programs devices are in, how long they're worn, they found the average use case in most instances was at least 12 hours. So we knew we had plenty of charge left in these devices. Even including, for example, because nowadays people like to stream media or music or, their cell phones through to their hearing aids, and they can still accommodate that, plus have, the use of the hearing aid itself. So, they were very thrilled with the results.
What is AutoSense OS?
Great question. I think one of the philosophies of Phonak has to try and simplify the life of people that are wearing our products, because there are enough challenges having hearing loss, and we don't want to add to them with the technology that we're supplying. So Phonak has been committed for a long time to sort of automating some of the program changes. Dr. Venema can attest to the fact we've had multi-memory hearing aids for a long time now.
For sure.
But when people wearing hearing aids are in a particular environment, if they are very engaged in that environment, they can sometimes forget to change the program to get a better feature set to match the acoustic environment they're in. So the first automatic program that Phonak brought out was way back in 1999, and it was a hard switch. So you were either in one program, and when the hearing aid determined that the acoustic environment had changed, it would switch you to another one. Well, we've now I've lost count of the number of iterations. So now with AutoSense OS, we actually have an intelligent operating system. That's what the OS stands for.
Well, I see here in your literature 200 distinct settings.
At least.
Yeah.
So what this product is doing is it's, for example, in our V90 series, our premium products, there are 7 base programs in this automatic setting. Mm-hmm. And what the hearing aid does is it analyzes the acoustic environments and then virtually real time will blend proportions of those programs to come up with a feature set that best matches the acoustic environment the person is in. So they don't have to worry about changing their hearing aid programs. And it's taken it up a notch. So, for example, very challenging listening environments and acoustic environments like a car where you've got reverberation and road noise. And often in automatic hearing aids, it's thought, oh, this is noisy. Let's activate a directional microphone which focuses the hearing aid microphones to the front, not to the side or to the back where your passengers may be. And in this instance, this hearing aid will actually keep it in an omni setting. It will reduce the low-level road noise, and it does all that automatically without anyone having to do that.
Yeah,
think about it.
The nice thing, is having a seamless change because what Janet's been saying is that the old style programmed hearing aids, you'd have a program for listening in quiet, a program for listening in noise, a program for music. Mm-hmm. And the lovely thing of this, what Janet is saying, is that the hearing aid is making it seamless so that the listener, it's set and forget.
Right.
The hearing aid's doing the work for you.
Right.
It's switching among all different sound environments and changing the way it sculpts and shapes the sound to best accommodate your listening to speech in all these different noise.
Or music, or in a car, or if you're in a very loud, noisy environment where you're trying to listen to the person in front of you. Mm-hmm. And I think what that does is it gives the person the best possible opportunity of hearing in a wide range of listening environments without them having to focus on the physical device. They can just focus on the communication or enjoying, say, for example, the music. And that's really what we want. We want to give people back their enjoyment of listening.
That's Janet Clark from Phonak Canada. Before we let you go, I just want you to tell us about, I always say to Dr. Venema, the gold, silver, and the bronze level, but you go down to, I don't even know what that would be, Stone Age? But I joke. But you have different levels, right? So,
yes, we do.
And so tell us about that, because there would be some people different levels of hearing loss or cost, right?
Yeah. So cost is something that they would discuss with their clinicians at NextGen. But what we look at is our 90-level product. So for the Belong platform, it would be the B90 level. That's our premium. So that has got all the bells and whistles and then some for people. And so depending on the listening needs, that is something that the clinician would discuss with the person and try and match the level of technology to their listening needs.
That's
Then
right.
we've got the 70, which is our advanced, and the 50, which is our standard level, and the 30, I won't quite use your descriptor if you don't mind.
I joke.
Which we call essential rather than, anyway, we'll move away from what you call it for now.
We're stuck with the gold, silver, and the bronze.
Yes, and then the nickel, let's maybe call it that.
The nickel.
Yeah. But
if it's like Charlie Brown, you get a rock in your stocking. Remember the Charlie Brown?
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, even in our essential, you've still got this automatic program blending. And if I look at, for example, our 50-level product, maybe 10 years ago, that would have been our premium level. Mm-hmm. That is really the pace of change.
Yeah. So to find out about like what is maybe the right mix for you, you have a YouTube channel where people go and watch and see what you're doing, right?
Yes, we do. We also have on www.phonakpro.ca, we have consumer sections too, and it will also link to some of our consumer sites. One I'm thinking of is Hearing Like Me, which is sort of articles, blog posts by people with hearing loss describing their experiences with Phonak technology. So that would be another interesting place to go as well.
Well, it's been great chatting with you. That's Janet Clark, Director of Audiology at Phonak Canada, PHONAK Canada. And thank you very much for your time. Interesting stuff, and have a great holiday season.
Wonderful, and happy holidays to everyone else, and thank you so much for the opportunity to participate.
Nice to hear your voice again there, Janet.
Lovely to hear yours, Ted. Take care.
You too.
And we'll be right back after this on Boomer Life here on CL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.